Welcome to BamBam-O-Rama.
Welcome to BamBam-O-Rama. We got the schmeats.
We got the schmeats.
Good morning and welcome to the BamBam-O-Rama podcast.
It's not the morning for whoever's listening to this. So.
That's true. We launch at 9 p.m. Excuse me. I forgot. We're recording it in the morning. It is evening for y'all listening, or actually whenever you listen to it. I guess it doesn't matter. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night.
How about good day, Vietnam? Can we do that?
I mean, we're not Vietnamese or in Vietnam, but I do like that reference. That's such a good movie. Also, now I'm worried if I'm thinking about a different movie.
What movie are you thinking about?
I'm thinking of Good Morning Vietnam.
Of course, that's what movie I'm
Okay.
referencing. What movie could it possibly What other movie could it possibly be?
I don't know. Scream 7.
Scream 7 does have that Robin Williams cameo where he does.
It does. Even though it hasn't been released yet.
Quotes that line. Is it not released? I thought we were like on Scream 10.
No, Scream 6 was the last one that come out. Rumors are it will be the last one, but that was also the rumors with Scream 5, also just called
Only
Scream.
On 6?
Yeah, we're on 6.
Did they skip the number sequence at one point and throw one in there?
Kind of. So Scream 5 was essentially just called Scream.
Okay.
But they like highlighted the V part of the M. So like when you look at the logo that it's the fifth one, but it's still just called Scream.
I'm just kind of baffled because like you take the Fast and the Furious movies and we're on past number 7. We're definitely past number 7. But that kind of cheesy overdoing it was really given to the Scream franchise before anybody.
Well, really, was it the Scream franchise? I thought it was like the Saw franchise.
I mean, that's one of them too, but Scream started it. Scream started the why are we doing another sequel? In my head.
I think you're kind of right. Like the fourth one came about after I don't know how much time was between 3 and 4. But yeah, when 4 came out, it was kind of like I thought we were done. But there was a lot of time between 3 and 4. And then 4 actually ended up being a much better movie than 3 or 2. So I guess they took some more time off and thought about it and made 5. And then 6 came right after 5. But there is time between 3 and 4 and time between 4 and 5. So had there not been all that time taken off, yeah, we'd probably be on Scream like 9 right now.
So yeah, Scream, the first 4 of them came out from 1996 through 2011. So they had gotten to me in my head by 2011. There are already like too many of these movies. But I'm baffled because in my head I always thought, man, Screams just keeps coming out. But by 2011, we were on the 5th Fast and Furious. So they were already one up on them.
Yeah.
I'm just still lost. Like, I always just kind of blame Scream for all of this.
I think Saw was
I owe them some apologies.
Right. I think Saw was actually the worst and probably closer to the example you're thinking of, because I think Saw...
Yeah, they did bounce a bunch of them out back to back.
Yeah. And Saw 5 was also called like the final chapter. Maybe it was 6. I can't remember. Then 2 more came out, and then they were like, okay, we're done. And then Jigsaw came out after we had already done 7 Saw movies, which I know I've seen them all except for Spiral. Spiral I need to watch. That's another one. Jigsaw came out. It didn't do that great. And they're like, okay, we're going to leave this franchise alone. And then Chris Rock was like, you know what we need? Another Saw movie. And I'm going to call it Spiral. So there's like 12 of those movies for no reason. It should have ended at 5.
So on that note, in a much shorter time, 2004 to 2010, so a few years off the front and 1 year off the back end, Saw had 7 movies out. Or no, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is it? Yeah, 7. Okay, yeah, 7.
Also, one of them has the title of the final chapter, and it wasn't, correct?
These just have them.
It just has the numbers,
like the full title. I mean, maybe if I clicked on the link, but I'm not that interested. But again, I owe the Scream franchise some apology. I sincerely have been blaming them in the back of my head for all of these people overdoing their sequels. And it's not actually, maybe it was them because some of this started happening after 2000 when the sequels happened, and Scream 3 had already come out. So yeah, that's a 4-year window. I can still justify it a little bit, but it's really not their fault. It's people like Saw and Vin Diesel.
Oh yeah, Vin Diesel's gone way overboard with the sequel thing. I actually do appreciate horror movie franchises coming out with a ridiculous amount of sequels. I think that's when it gets fun and gets campy. Like Halloween has so many sequels. Not only does Halloween have sequels, Halloween has like 3 different timelines amongst the sequels.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I think that's lazy. That's lazy writing.
I get that. Oh, I think, a lot of it has to go with, what's his name? Wes Craven did the first 2 Halloween movies.
Yeah, but you can still kind of keep it all in the same universe without creating quote unquote timelines to just satisfy your right. If you're gonna do that, write your own fucking stories.
Well, didn't Alien do that? Didn't Alien just
yes
make a sequel that they were like, we are not gonna acknowledge Alien 3? Was that the bad one? I'll be honest, I never saw Alien 3.
But there's so many franchises that do that kind of stuff, and it annoys the fuck out of me.
I get why it annoys some people. When they at first announced the Danny McBride Halloween sequel, and they were like, it is going to ignore 4, 5, and 4, 5, and 6. At this point in time, I didn't realize that H2O and Redemption, or whatever it's called, were a part of a different timeline already. I didn't realize that had already happened because I was young and just didn't know how to pay attention, I guess. I was like, I don't know how to feel about that. But that Danny McBride sequel was so good, I was like, I kind of don't care.
It's a standalone more than its own universe, though, isn't it?
I mean, it's a sequel to the first movie. But yeah, I think you're right. I think you could watch it and
just by itself.
Just by itself.
This is Halloween.
Yeah, this is Halloween. It's called Halloween,
which is something I can definitely say is not the same as just creating different universe. To me, when you're creating different universes, is that you're using the beginning of everybody else's stuff, and then you're just branching off from there because you don't want to start it. But if you don't start with being a sequel from that, and you just create a character, just like comic books did, they didn't start over every fucking time. And that's where some of the comic book movies were really fucking up. They kept starting over with the origin story versus the actual comic books. There was and yes, it does do that. I understand. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, in the films, if they stopped revisiting the beginning so much, it wouldn't be so lazy.
I get that.
You're filling 15 at least minutes of your script with someone else's shit.
Yeah.
Recapping on it. That's not fucking good. And plus, we all know about that.
Oh, yeah.
We done seen it. We're here for this one. We know what that one's about.
I think excuse me. The worst example, actually, maybe the best, because in the horror world, it's one of the most beloved movies that does what you said, where it recaps the movie before it, and then gets into its story, has to be Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, which I'm going to be honest with you, I never watched Silent Night, Deadly Night, the first one. I watched Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, and I pretty much watched both movies because the entire plot, every murder, everything about Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 is recapped in the first 45 minutes. Yes, 45 minutes.
Jesus.
Of the sequel. They just condensed it down.
Actual footage?
Yeah, actual footage from the movie. And maybe not 45 minutes, maybe it was more like 30. But yeah, it's a good chunk of the sequel is pretty much just rewatching the first one.
I hate that so much.
The way it's done, and I'm not saying that they did a good job. They did a bad job. It's loved because it's campy and it's so bad. If that makes sense. It's like one of those cult classics where you're like, they didn't do this right, but we are gonna watch it and laugh at it. So it was funny too, because I am one of those guys that I don't like to watch the sequel unless I watch the first one. And then it was Christmas and I really wanted to watch a Halloween Christmas movie. When I was a kid, I always went to the horror section in Blockbuster and Hastings, and Silent Deadly Night was always something I looked at, but I think it was always gone. And so I was like, man, I'm just finally going to do this. This is me like 4 years ago. And I was like, I'm finally just going to watch it. And I was like, and I, for some reason, can't find the first one. So I'm just going to watch the second one. And hopefully I don't lose anything. And apparently I didn't lose a damn thing. And I laughed my ass off because I was
But
like,
how do you know that was the case then if you've never seen the first one?
I was very confused after 30 minutes of why there was a whole set of new characters. And it seemed like a new plot came along. And I went and looked it up.
Oh.
And they were like, yeah, the first movie is recapped in this one. And I was like, sweet. I got to watch 2 movies at once.
I do like the idea of replacing the entire cast though, like that. If you do it like sequentially, just make it like an extra 20-minute, 30-minute long movie, and having like a mini, like almost like a TV show version of your movie with a whole
Right.
different cast dying off real quick.
I think that's pretty cool. I like that. Chilly. But you're right, dude. I think the Fast and the Furious sequels have gone overboard. And I don't think since 2 have I sat down and watched a Fast and the Furious movie in its entirety. But I still pay for cable services. Not cable. I have YouTube TV. And if I'm clicking through the channels and I see that there is a Fast and Furious movie on, I might stop and watch it for a little bit because I know there's going to be some ridiculous scene where Vin Diesel uses his Dodge Charger to, blow
He
up a
drives
tank.
right up the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, something ridiculous. And he's like, I've got family.
My family needs me to turn the earth in reverse direction like Superman
Like
did to bring them
Superman.
back to life.
Right.
We're gonna bring back family. Oh my God, Vin Diesel's car is turning the earth counterclockwise.
Yep.
Or
Going back in time.
we're gonna go back in time. That's
So
a good
what-
movie right there.
It is. But that's the theme song from the cartoon, correct? Was that ever in one of the movies? I don't think it was.
What's that?
The Back in Time song that you
What?
just sang. Gotta go back in time.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't in any of the Fast and Furious movies.
That's the theme song to the Back to the Future cartoon.
Okay.
Just saying.
Well, we're
That's what-
talking about the Fast and the Furious movie.
I know,
You
but you
sang a
just sang-
song.
Yeah, you sang the theme song to a cartoon that existed.
You know, it's also a song, right? Like just a standalone song.
Is it really? I didn't know that. I just thought it was a theme song to the cartoon.
Oh.
Was it? That's why I was asking. Was it in any of the Back to the Future movies? But I don't think it was.
Yeah, it was for the movie.
It
Written
was
for and featured in 1985 film Back to the Future.
How do I not remember that? I think that if there was a movie, that's really surprises me that I don't remember that. Because I think if there was a movie that I ever did really nerd out about and knew too many facts about, at
Maybe-
one time it was that movie.
Maybe you forgot because someone went back in time and they crashed their DeLorean into your speakers.
Oh, fuck.
So you
maybe
couldn't
that-
listen to the song.
That might have happened. That could have happened.
No, instead of Speaker Tower Jackson, they call you Headphones Jackson. It's just not as good. Those headphones back then were shit.
It's true.
I like
Also-
how I talked about headphones and you framed up and looked at yourself in your headphones.
I did. I did.
I know. I saw it.
And I turned exactly so that I could see it, and I was like, I can see both headphones now.
I know what you're doing.
I always do shit like that.
I do too. That's just funny.
Yeah. I don't mind being called out on it too. It's fun little quirky things that we do because we are somewhere on the autism spectrum, whether it is ADHD, which is on the autism spectrum, which does bring back to why did they get rid of Asperger's if they left ADHD on the spectrum?
I don't know. I'm not going to talk about that one on here.
Yeah. I know. I was gonna say I think we were talking about that before we started recording. So that's a cut.
So all I'm saying is that I'm very excited about movies right now. Obviously, there's reasons why we're recording stuff, and not only have I been looking at screenwriting, educational literature, and videos and such, but it's just a lot more interesting right now.
It is.
I'm excited to start trying to do that kind of stuff more and more, writing and such. Not because I think I'm going to do better than people I've criticized, but it's just fun. It's going to be a fun challenge.
I don't think there's any reason to defend yourself on doing better or anything. It's just something you're interested in, and you want to try to do it. We are jumping into this entertainment world on all different fronts. We're writing scripts for sketches and even screenplay ideas that we've had. We're just hoping, we can turn something into something, if that makes sense. I'm just saying, there's no reason to defend yourself on I'm going to do better. It's something we're into right now. We're really hoping to get into this industry, and I think we're kind of hitting it on all fronts. We're hitting it on the YouTube front, the podcast front. We've been spending our nights penciling some other projects as well. I don't know if we.
I mean, that reminds me to bug you once again to start learning piano parts for a song that we won't mention on here. Where we're both going to end up dressing up as the same person.
Oh, I think I know what you're. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'll start working on that soon.
So that way, whenever we're talking about this, people are listening. They're like, "Well, what about music?" Because anyone's listening knows that we play music, right?
Yeah.
Well, how come we haven't seen music stuff yet? Well, guess what, people?
Yeah, music stuff's gonna come.
It's coming.
Well, there's already some music content out there. We made music videos for my songs, but yeah, we do need to do project where we work on it together. Also, you have one of the coolest, and I don't know if you would call it sound design. I guess you would, or maybe you could call it score writing. But I thought that little blues chord that you did in the mockumentary was really cool.
It's
honestly, I really did. I heard it and I was like, "That's fucking cool." And I thought for the longest time that you took that from something, and I was like, "I'm so bummed out that we're gonna have to get rid of that." And then you told me
100% just me sitting here, right here in this chair.
Yeah, and then you told me you did that, and I was like, I was excited for two reasons. For one, I was like, "That's badass." It was simple. I'm so proud of Adrian for doing that, and I was like, also, it gets to stay in the movie.
Yeah, it's all 100% ours.
Yeah,
which is always important when making any of these things. It's real fun being from the music stuff because we've made sound design options and choices and alterations because of some of that foundation, but more importantly, we're allowed to keep a lot of stuff because we're using our own stuff. We're not using And not to talk trash about any of these, because they're amazing, beautiful resources and assets you can have access to out there. But like Envato Elements is always something thrown in my commercial, fed to me, trying to sell to me. It's just pictures and videos and sounds,
Well,
thousands, but it's cool to be able to make them too.
oh, definitely. And I think you're right. There's this huge resource of, stock footage, stock sound effects, whatever you want to say. There's free stuff out there. There's subscribed, paid for stuff out there. And I think, not for any reason of arrogance have we avoided using it, but I think we just, because we have the ability and we enjoy making that stuff on our own.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, last night we were talking about a sketch that you're editing. This is going to be the first thing you're going to edit, so eventually people will be able to see that, and I won't even mention names of things, so that when it does come out, we don't want people to know specifically. We just want it to be, it's another Bam Bam thing.
Yep.
But anyway, because this thought's going to happen before that anyway, so I can say this, we're going to need to create like a little ditty of a song.
Oh, definitely. I've been thinking about that too. Yeah. And I don't know if we need to make a ditty of a song like per sketch, or if we need to make like a BamBamORama little ditty theme song that's for us, like a little jingle. And obviously
carries the story.
Yeah, something. And I think you're absolutely right. That is definitely something we're gonna have to do. And I think it's gonna be fun to do it.
Yeah. So I'm excited to try that too. Because I've never made a jingle on purpose.
I've done. I think one time I called it a jingle, and I don't know if jingle was the right word. Again, it loosely could have fallen under score writing, maybe, like loosely. But I wrote when we first started toying around with the idea of BamBamORama, because it took us a while to actually get off the ground. And I mean, technically, I guess we're still trying to get off the ground, but we're actually moving at this point. But I had written one little guitar riff that was probably 5 to 10 seconds long, but it wasn't necessarily like to be a theme song or anything. It was like to use to transition scenes if needed. I don't know if you remember me showing it to you. It's been years. But that would be my little first attempt. It was a little like bluesy surf rocky guitar riff.
A walk or something?
Kind of walk, like a little do something like that.
Yeah.
But that's all it was. Well, like something for a transition, I think is what you would use that for.
Yeah. Yeah, what I want to do, and I know you knew this was different anyway, what I'm looking for on the little ditty is kind of like the Girl from Ipanema type vibe, Beep, 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 beep. Yeah. So I'm going to have fun with that, because I get to make some of the little noises that you would expect out of that. And vocally, I'm going to really enjoy that. In fact, I'm probably going to play with that on my off time today.
Nice. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited. And I think, one of the things too, if we can get specific enough, like for the WWE sketches, the wrestler sketches, the background noise that we hear that sounds like a gym, I actually recorded in my personal gym at home.
Yeah. That's another piece of sound design that's just ours.
Yeah. And I mean, we easily could have gotten some free stuff.
Or paid for something.
But it was fun to bang the weights around for, I don't think it was even 5 minutes long.
Yeah, no, it's just you working out by yourself, and then we've gone through and taken it in different sections.
Yeah.
so that it sounds like different people doing different things at the same time.
Yeah. And
It's great.
It was a pretty cool thing. I think, and you did, I mean, all I did was record it. You made it sound like a gym, like an actual gym.
Yeah, and what part of the fun with that was it's not just that there's multiple lines of the audio in different spots. Like, so what I did is, the bar is the bar, and then I scooched it, cut the end off, and then moved that end to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes I just staggered them, and then I chopped off the ends and, had what was left so that it, kind of ran through normally. And I even made sure to listen to each one so that it didn't like sound like, bad cuts, right? I cut it properly in empty spots so that sounded natural. And then I phased them using different I shouldn't have said words.
You're okay.
Like
Using
compressor,
different, yeah, I got you.
So, like the techniques you would find where like someone puts a low pass on something or a high pass so it sounds like they're underwater, or vice versa. The one person sounds like they're on the phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's that similar concept, but I did it in different, arguably normal ranges of frequency. So it just sounds like someone's a little farther and one's a little closer.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
So your original one is normal. The original track, there's one of it in there. It's just running through on the very top. But there's 4 other tracks of things that were chopped up and then that's done to them so that it doesn't sound like the same thing,
Oh yeah. And then I think when I was done with that workout too, because I recorded me doing like a whole workout, or at least half of a workout. I think when I was done too, I was like, I don't think there was enough, and I just like clanked some weights around, put weights on the bar, take it off, took it off, like, and I just like gave you stuff to work with.
I mean, it obviously worked. It sounds great.
Yeah. Oh, I think it does too. I thought it was. I was so stressed out for the longest time. I was like, man, he's gonna listen to that and he's gonna be like, what the fuck? And then when I heard it,
I did that.
You did that?
I was like, what is...
I'm sorry.
I was like, this isn't him. No. This is what I'm just gonna... There's nothing wrong with it. It's just the thought I had. We haven't talked about it.
Cool.
But yeah, I got it. It was like, what, 15 minutes?
I think so. Yeah, like I said, it wasn't a full workout of mine because I work out for 45 minutes to an hour usually. And at one point I was like, oh shit, I need to turn this on.
Yeah, I got that clip. It says it's 15 minutes because I'm not opening it. I'm just clicking it to see the stats, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, he's got 15 minutes of him working out at the gym.
Oh, you thought I went to the gym?
Went to the gym.
No, I did it in my personal gym.
In this whole conversation, I'm like, yeah, he's going to record the gym to get the gym noises, not a gym at home of things. And so I was like, what the fuck? And I was like,
so my question,
let me finish it real quick.
Oh, okay.
So I was let me just listen to it. And I did.
I don't know why I didn't realize I was supposed to go to the gym, or I guess I forgot that very easily and like perma forgot it. Either way, that's my bad. But I mean, at the same time,
it's honestly probably better this way.
I think so. I think because it sounded like when I heard it, when I remember opening that sketch, and at one point I specifically zoned into the background noise because I was like, I know what I gave him. I don't know exactly what I gave you because it was in the middle of one of my workouts that I just turned on the recording. And then, like I said, at the end, I added a bunch of stuff because I know I didn't. If I just gave you just the workout recording, you would have been like, this is not usable. I feel like. That's why I gave you the weight clinks and stuff at the end because I was like, huh?
You don't do it throughout the entire thing, but at some points you go, ugh.
Yeah. Because I was actually
I took some of those out, or no, all of that out, actually.
Yeah, because I was actually working out. I recorded an actual workout of mine because I was
it's just funny to be sitting there concentrating. Like I've got 8 things I'm working on because at that time I hadn't done any of the sketch editing ever.
Yeah,
this was the first sketch ever for me. also I'm still learning a lot of basics on editing
Yeah.
at that moment, much less still now. You know, I'm forever learning, but you know, still very much in my infancy of it.
Oh yeah.
At that point, I was just like, it was fun. I love it.
It was
I
fun.
loved every second of it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it if I could now. I wouldn't go back and correct or quote unquote correct it, you
Right.
know, because everything's
I think
working the way I want it. I like the style that I've developed into with the people that I've watched their tutorials on.
Mhm.
I like the way we are. Yeah.
I'm enjoying it too. I like our little indie undergroundness that we got going on. If that's the right
Yeah.
word. Punk rock.
Yeah. It really is. That's part of the influence of the lettering for the WWE sketch, is that this is very amateur, and we're already working with a little bit of fuel. You know.
I agree. Oh yeah, but I was gonna say, I know what I gave you in that audio track, and I was worried that you were gonna be like frustrated and pissed off. But when I listened to it, not necessarily frustrated and pissed off, I was just like, I don't know what he's gonna do. When I heard it at first, I was like, he didn't like it, and he went and grabbed a
Some sort of clip.
yeah, some sort of clip when I heard it. And then when I was like, when I asked you if you used it, and you were like, yeah, this is what I did, you basically explained all the stuff you did with the making things louder, this and that. There's one full piece, and then you like chopped up pieces and moved them around. And I was like, that's fucking great. Like, that's brilliant, because it sounds like a fucking gym.
It does. It really does work out. Yeah. I'm pretty proud of that one, actually.
I think you should be. Like, I think if you like, I'm not trying to curse us or anything when I say this, but you know, if BamBam-O-Rama doesn't turn into what we want it to turn into, and if you have to submit a portfolio to someone else, I think that audio clip on its own should be part of your portfolio.
I'm obviously already getting work on the side of doing this kind of stuff. I 100% with confidence believe that I will forever be able to do this kind of work for the rest of my life. Just because, I already am. I don't have any job that I had before that I don't do because I was kicked out. I've only stopped doing jobs, you know? So once I learn how to do it, I just stay as long as I want. And I love doing this. Even the stuff I'm doing on the side that's not my work, that's what some people might think sounds boring. And I'm not going to say what it is because it's none of, you know, not for conversation really.
Right.
But it's not glitzy editing, you know, YouTube videos. It's editing, you know, people just talking, and not even about a subject that I'm interested in. So it's something I'm having to concentrate on what they're saying to make sure that I'm getting their message out, not my interpretation of that field of thought. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's like, that's not my world. So I'm here to just get their words out. And so I do have to pay attention, you know, and I still love every second. It's absolutely interesting to me. Making sure that I get the nuances of speech right, not just cutting on the words, you know,
Right.
Because people get, you know, animated, or they, you know, get more reserved. So you got to pay attention to that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so much fun. I'm learning so much about our stuff while I'm doing that too. It's really cool.
That is cool.
Wieners.
Wiener.
So yeah, I just highly recommend anyone indulge in something.
I think this stuff is fun. So on the idea, or not on the idea, let's go on that subject a little bit more about like video production. Because at this point you've kind of, I think both of us kind of have, within BamBam-O-Rama, kind of done everything. I know I'm really just getting my feet wet with editing, but I think I've edited enough of this video to say that I at least understand editing at this point. Not understand it, but you know what I mean. I'm working on it. What is your favorite role in this video production stuff? Directing, acting, editing,
That's a tough
audio, like
question.
which part has been your funnest moment?
I would have to say the directing seat, because that was the most under fire to have something, like to have a solution.
Mhm.
It's not that you guys weren't there to help. There was just no way to convey my thoughts in real time to keep up with the pace of what was needed to be done.
And which directing moment are you? Because it sounds like you have something you're specifically thinking
The
about.
whole fucking time.
What's the whole time? Are you talking about
the whole like the shooting in the house?
so you're talking about Bam Bam? Not Bam Bam. I'm
Every
sorry.
oh
No one
the
cares.
No One Cares. Yeah, the movie. Sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah, directing No One Cares and writing that, and I know it's not an amazing piece of work, but it's the time, effort, what we got out of it is a lot bigger than what it looks like. And to me, that's infinitely more satisfying. And I still stand by it. I would show that movie to anybody because not only does it make sense, but it's good.
It is good. I think you did a great job. Okay,
you.
I guess we have a guest.
Is he coming in? Just the whole aspect of every day was just a grind to figure out something.
Mhm.
It really had me firing on all cylinders. And
I definitely think directing is
fun all
probably
around.
the hardest job in film.
I wouldn't say that either.
You don't think directing is? What do you think?
You
Oh,
just
actually,
got a
no.
lot of people looking to you for things.
I guess
it's not that it's hard; it's overbearing.
I guess
You
for
get stressed.
I guess for me it's hard because I don't like to manage that much stuff. I know I've probably taken the assistant director seat in our stuff, but I wouldn't say that I've been a director at all in our stuff. And I know there will be a day when I do, and I know my style would probably be different than you. Because I probably wouldn't be so much as I would be like, all right, we all know what we're here for.
I thought you were like, I wouldn't be such an asshole.
I wouldn't be as much of an asshole. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'd just be like, we all know what we're here for. So go, and then I'd be like, all right, we're gonna do it again. This time I want you to do this. This time I want you to do this. I want you to do this. You know what I mean? That's probably how I would roll. Not that that's much different than what you do, but I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is mine would be less my directing style would be less managerial than I expect that most directors are. Because director's job is to make sure, especially if you're working on a major film. Like if you're working on a Marvel film, if you're the Russo brothers, who aren't working on Marvel films anymore, I don't think. But either way, Marvel Studio basically said, here's your timeline, and it is their job to make sure that Endgame got filmed during these months. That is a managerial job, whether you like it or not. You know what I mean? The nice thing that we've had is none of our projects require even a week yet. I mean, granted, if we had a week for No One Cares, I mean, I guess technically we had years for that one. But if we had a week to film what we did, it would have been different. It would have been a completely different product, I think.
Significantly different.
And a lot easier. But I don't think
we had less than what we planned.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had a day.
Yeah, we had part of our talent got called into their real life job.
Yeah.
And we had to work around that. So I think we ended up using a lot from the rehearsal the night before.
Not as much as you might think. You can really tell by what you're dressed in your beard.
Was I dressed different? I do remember. Oh, yeah, you're right.
You're wearing it differently.
That makes sense.
One day you've thrown it on, one day you put it on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make
that makes a little scragglier.
That makes complete sense. But yeah, I don't think we've had any situation where we had to be a high-end manager. No, that's true. That's not right. The Power Rangers, we had a big time crunch on that one.
That really sucked. The Power Rangers shoot was probably the most nerve-wracking one because the suits weren't coming together as quick as I was hoping. And then we lost, like the last day we had for filming, we were losing light quick.
Yeah, well, we were doing it during the winter time, which already the sun sets earlier naturally, and then we also have one less hour because of daylight savings time, or we were on standard time, whatever. I always forget which is which. So yeah, I mean, we were losing sunlight, and there was a big shadow in the spot that we were filming that was creeping up on us real fast. So you're right. We were just fighting sunlight, or not fighting sunlight, fighting
running with it.
Yeah.
But it's fine. We ended up with a campy poke fun at myself, where I leave the truck in the edit. And that wasn't even rushed at that part. We're just talking about the filming.
The filming
editing
was
part.
The editing was.
I had time to take the truck out and clean up some of it. I left a lot of impurities on purpose.
I think some of them made it funny. I thought the truck being there was funny to me.
The part of that was because I didn't have as much footage to make some of this, like the fight scenes, look as big as I wanted them to.
Mm-hmm.
So then we're in a 2D world. I'm just going to start throwing and leaving stuff in there. The trees are going to constantly be coming towards the screen, just growing. It's almost in homage to the old school Power Rangers where they had a little bit shittier production on, their end of, like, you always saw something kind of you shouldn't,
Oh, yeah.
The set just didn't seem right. Tennis shoes popping out of the costume here or whatever.
I always loved when Power Rangers was when they would use the city scenes, which we had planned on building a city scene. There was no time.
Really regret that we could not have gotten at least one shot.
I know.
Just to try.
But those buildings that they used on those, I mean, actually, I want to say on the original, but I think even every rendition of Power Rangers, if there's a building that's being used, it's so bad. And we really wanted to do that because I don't know, it was something that looks fun.
Yeah.
And maybe it's something we will get to revisit at some point in time. We did it based off of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. There are over 30. Okay. I don't know how many Power Rangers. What?
For your TV in your room.
Dude, sick.
It was in your laundry basket.
Good.
Not the brown one. It was in the white one.
Good job. All right. You going to go watch Lanky Box? I love you.
I like how he pats you like you did a good job too.
Right. But yeah, I did. So I dove into the history, or not the history. I dove into the Power Rangers quite a bit. And apparently, I'm not even going to try to say what the original show was called, but it's based off of, so the American Power Rangers idea is they use these American actors.
Saban bought the rights to footage from an old Japanese
action
show.
And that Japanese action show, basically every season that they make, they reinvent the heroes. So the way it works for America is we get like 2 or 3 seasons out of those.
One cast and crew.
Yeah, out of that one cast and crew, whereas that's one season in Japan, right? But yeah, they're just using the hero side of it. So we could essentially do that with a future music video idea, should we want. We also don't ever have to. But I mean, I'm just saying the opportunity to do a Power Rangers city scene. We could also do old school monster movie. If we want to do a city scene.
Like Godzilla.
Yeah, like Godzilla.
I mean, I definitely do want to do a cityscape where I can design personally the buildings. I had good ideas, I think. And some that I would argue would have made some filmmakers pretty happy.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention how we would have actually pulled it off and filmed it.
Oh, totally.
I think people would have been satisfied with our practical and VFX that would have been applied to it, because I had big plans for that breakaway building where it breaks in half.
Yeah,
real cheesy, but looks right, like what you would hope for at the time.
I think you did a great job, man. I'm really proud of the product that we did. I know there was frustrations on set. We got in a fist fight. Just kidding.
Not with each other.
Not with each other. It was
there was a family of 8 at the filming site, and 2 of the kids came over and started talking shit.
Yep,
So we had to rough up some 12-year-olds.
it was, and we did. It was rough.
We kicked their asses
Mm-hmm. We came out on top.
before their older 18-year-old brother and dad came over and kicked our ass.
I
Just looking forward to more of it.
am too.
I know a lot of these podcasts are just us kind of chatting with each other about how much fun we're having, as someone liked to point out to me yesterday, but that's okay.
Oh, is that what someone did?
Yeah.
Hey, man, but
If he listens to this and doesn't know that I know he was talking shit, it's okay.
What-
Because then he later asked if he could be on the cast.
Oh, so he actually watched it? Nice.
He says he did.
Ooh. I don't think there's anything wrong with that though. I mean, my favorite podcasts, I think my absolute favorite podcast, which I haven't listened to enough at this point in time. This changes all the time. Don't get me wrong. Today, Smartless is my favorite podcast, and those guys do a lot of the time just talk about how fun their job is with someone else who does the same job or something similar within the industry. They get into interviews and this, or like interview questions and stuff like that, but they go off on tangents on how much they enjoy the production side of everything, and they enjoy being actors, and some of them have sat in the director's seat and they talk about that. So, and those are, when they go off on those, I enjoy it so much because it does feel like they're having a real conversation as opposed to having an interview.
Yeah.
And I think that makes a big difference.
We'll see. We can only keep trying.
Yeah.
So as usual, we want to throw out some shout outs to some small-time artists that we know. Jeremy Calley Guitars, linked in multiple podcasts before this, and will be linked at this one. Audrey Adams Art.com, AudreyAdamsArt.com. Also will be linked in this podcast and the last one. You got any?
I don't at this point in time, but I did think about that last night, and I'm going to be reaching out to people to add to this list.
And of course, all that being said, we've got our own podcast here. Obviously, this one will be released today at 9 p.m. Tuesdays, we're going to get a little bit more strict on Adrian. That's me, by the way, on the release times. That will be the video version on YouTube of this podcast. But more importantly, we've got sketches, guys. So we don't have an official release schedule for those sketches, but it seems to be the very end of each month. Okay, so we've got another sketch recorded. It's coming out soon, guys. That's the 4th of our wrestling sketch. But we've also got some more shorts coming. So just keep an eye out for little shorts randomly dropped in there for consistency on the WWE about the end of each month.
Yeah. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. We also stream video games on Twitch and YouTube Thursday nights at 8:30 Central Standard Time. Right now, we are playing Grounded.
Honey,
so
I Shrunk the Kids.
Tune in and check that out.
The video game.
Yes, it's a lot of fun. Follow us on Instagram, and love y'all.